Hey everyone, welcome to Top 5 Talk, the podcast where we discuss our top 5 favorites in a variety of subjects. Today we will be doing our very first episode. We're excited to have you with us. A little disclaimer here. We are working on building up a studio where we can film these episodes and whatnot, but we haven't been able to get all the materials yet, so we're just kind of using my office right now. It's kind of tight. It doesn't look too professional, but we're working our way towards that. We'd also like to point out that we are Christians, so we will never discuss any topics that we feel like are contrary to our faith. I'm your host, Micah Coverstone, and
I'm your co-host, Emma Coverstone.
Awesome. So today, by popular vote on our Instagram page, _top 5 topic, you guys chose for us to discuss our top 5 favorite fast food restaurants, okay? So we're going to start with our number 5. We're going to discuss that. We're going to make it all the way to number 1. We hope we make some of you guys so mad you can't sleep tonight. So I'll go ahead and give you, Emma, the first option. You go ahead and tell us, what is your number 5 favorite fast food restaurant?
Alrighty, thank you, Micah. So, my number 5 is gonna have to go to Panda Express, and the reason why I picked Panda Express is because, sometimes you're just craving something sort of like Chinese food or something along the midst of that, and you can't always just have time to go sit in at a buffet or whatever. So, knowing from we're around here from Kentucky, there's not really a whole lot of Panda Express locations here. So anytime I see one, and I'm in the mood for some Chinese food, I might as well just go ahead and grab a bite from there.
You got to get it when you can, huh?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so that's a pretty solid number 5. I would say Panda Express is probably in my top 10, but it did not crack the top 5 list. Here's the reason why. I just don't get very many things from there. There's not a wide variety. I'm going to talk about variety a lot on this fast food restaurant list. There's only like one thing I get from there, 1 or 2 things, and I'm not too familiar with it. So it cracks my top 10, not quite my top 5. My number 5 is going to make some people extremely mad. I know that most of you all that are listening to this disgusts you, my number 5. But I sat and I pondered and I thought for a very, very long time about this because I knew my 1 through 4 like super easy. Like there was no doubt in my mind what my number 1 through 4 were going to be. But when I get to that 5 spot, there was like 4 or 5 different places that I felt like could fit into that 5 spot, like because the first 4, like I eat them all the time everywhere, like they're the only ones I really eat. The other ones after number 4 are pretty much just places I go when I get the opportunity. So I really wasn't sure, but I think I determined what it was going to be. Okay, and it might shock some of you. I know some of you are going to be disgusted. I know that you might be a little bit disgusted at this. My number 5 favorite fast food restaurant is going to be Arby's. I love Arby's. I think their sauce is great. I know that most of you just lost all your taste buds hearing me say that. But I'm serious. I love Arby's. I think it's a very underrated restaurant. I think everybody just thinks it's nasty. I'm not really sure why. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments as to why you hate Arby's. I love their sauce. I love their curly fries. Every bit of their food that I've eaten I love. And a lot of times, ultimately, the reason I put it above some of these other places that don't make it into my top 5 is because if I have the option of choosing between like Arby's and these other places that are in like my 6 through 10, most of the time I'm actually going to choose Arby's. If it's just me choosing, if I get to make that choice, I'm probably choosing Arby's. So I felt like it needed to go in my top 5. And, it is what it is. I apologize to all of you that are hurt by this and may never want to listen to our podcast again. But that's exactly why we're doing this, because I think it's awesome. I think it's hilarious because nothing brings people together more than disagreement. And I think you guys are definitely going to disagree with me on that, a lot of you. And so it's going to make you passionate about what we're talking about. So anyway, go ahead with your number 4, Emma.
Well, before I say my number 4, I love how you mentioned that you would only choose Arby's if you yourself would get to pick. Because normally it's you and I, and you know what they say, lady gets the last word. So, but anyways, moving on with that, my number 4, this is kind of really interesting. I think with my number 4, I'll just go ahead and say I'm not really a picky eater, so I mean I'll just eat whatever, I'll be honest. So it just depends on the mood. But I think with number 4, I stuck to number 4 because I guess I had one of my best friends from my hometown. You know, her family owned this fast food restaurant, and so it was just something that I always looked forward to, and it was just right there down the road from us. So my number 4 is going to have to go to Sonic. And the reason why I picked Sonic is because, I mean, I'm not going to lie, you can get a strawberry limeade from there at slushies and variety of flavors. Or what my favorite thing was like, what?
Happy hour. Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Happy hour. 2 to 4
jumbo
every day.
chicken. I mean, good stuff. And then the chili cheese fries. Good stuff.
I think like a downside to Sonic is you can't eat inside. Like, it's great to eat outside, you know, when the weather's nice, but you don't like. I don't want to sit and eat in my car a lot of times. I don't. That's just not fun to me. But
okay. Well, let me just rephrase you from that. Here in our little small town, there has never been a football game or anything a lot recently. And in my hometown, there was always football games, and everybody knew every Friday night after the football game, we would all meet up at Sonic. And like, you know, this is especially like back to school time and everything. And it would just be like a party in the lot pretty much. But I know we both grew up in different environments, so I always enjoyed Sonic, and plus, not to mention, my bestie girl, she would always give me some discounts. I'll say that. Shout out to Jasmine, if you're watching this. But yeah,
Sonic. All right. Well, hey, listen. So my number 4 is gonna. Most people, I think, would probably have my number 4 in their top 5, and I fully expect most of you watching to say that this is definitely a really great restaurant. But I very highly doubt most of you have it this low. You might contend with me on this. I'm gonna go Chick-fil-A for my number 4. Now let me kind of explain why that is. And I mentioned this when I was talking about Arby's and everything else before. Is that Chick-fil-A probably would be higher, except that there's literally like only one thing I eat when I go there. And obviously, it's a chicken place.
Eaters.
It's a chicken place. But I don't feel like there's enough variety of the things that I really would want to eat. Like it's spicy chicken sandwich, or it's a regular chicken sandwich if they don't have spicy. That's pretty much it when I go to Chick-fil-A. I would eat their nuggets. They're good. But it's just like, you know, they don't have the variety. So I'm going to put them at number 4. They're definitely better than Arby's. It's definitely that if I get the opportunity to eat Chick-fil-A, I'm going to eat it. But they don't have variety. And that's why I can't put Chick-fil-A as high as my top 3, because my top 3 have variety. And you'll kind of see that in a second.
My God, that just sounds like you grew up being that one kid that always had chicken tenders and fries at any restaurant that they were not familiar with.
Chicken tenders are good. There's no shame to any of you that just choose chicken tenders wherever you go. Okay? No shame on you guys. Love you guys.
He's
now,
just supporting y'all because he's a picky eater.
If you go to Mexican and you get chicken tenders, I can't support that decision. That's a bit much. But no, I wouldn't say I'm like super picky. In my family, there's 5 of us, and I'm probably the second.
If you have to think
picky.
about it, you're a picky eater.
But in relation to you, relative to you, but in a general sense, I'm not as picky as maybe you make me out to be. I certainly don't think so. I eat more than anybody in my family, except for my dad. Eat more variety, right. I should say. But anyway, yeah. So that's just me. But
alrighty, I guess. Wow, we're already on our top 3. I think at this rate, it was starting to get tough and tough. Sorting out the list, which I'll be honest, when I was thinking of a list for this, I could not think of anything. Like I mentioned before, I'm not really picky.
Fast food's tough.
It is.
It's tough, and where we live, like we don't have a lot of variety.
Oh yeah.
So even if we know what good fast food is, we don't we can't just up and go to some of these places on a daily basis and really get to determine to the best of our ability what our favorites are.
Right. I think along with that though, for my number 3, which I was back and forth between 2 options, but in all reality, I'm probably gonna have to go with for my number 3, which many would probably consider this, but I'm gonna have to go with Dairy Queen. And
Dairy Queen's good.
You just can't go wrong with Dairy Queen. I'll be honest. You want something with chicken? chicken tender basket. There you go. You
Yeah, their
want
chicken
some?
tender
You want a
basket.
burger? They have burgers there too. That I don't even know. I don't know if I've ever had a burger. I think maybe once, but pretty solid. But I
Okay.
mean, you just can't go wrong with their cheese curds.
Yes, their cheese curds
Oh,
are really good.
so
I love
good.
I get an order of cheese curds pretty much every time I go
Oh yeah.
with what I'm like already eating, which is typically the chicken tender basket, chicken strip basket. Everybody knows that. Like
Mhm.
if you go to Dairy Queen and don't get the chicken strip basket on a regular basis, who are you? Are you American?
They're
Do you
uneducated.
live like here in America? Because like everybody ever asks, what's your order at Dairy Queen, which I don't ask a lot of people that, and that's probably part of the reason for this. But most of them say, chicken strip basket, and and I have to agree. I think it's the best thing on their menu easily.
Yeah.
So my number 3, we had a bit of an altercation earlier about whether or not this was fast food. I'm going to say it is, just for the sake of the fact that it is food that can be made quickly. It's made right in front of you, which will probably give it away. Subway is my number 3 favorite fast food. Now, mind you, Subway is one of the only chain restaurants we have in this little small town that we live in.
No kidding.
We have Subway and Pizza Hut. I mean, like, that's it in terms of chain restaurants. And so,
Yeah.
like, some people are like, well, that's just because that's what you always get. But no, like, I genuinely love the food that Subway offers. And I don't think you can go wrong, with, like, getting one of their pizzas even. Their pizzas are great. Like, if you don't want to get a sandwich, you can get one of their pizzas and, like, personal pans, and it's great. I think also that they have I like their drinks. I like the choice of drinks, like, for what I mean. Like, they got Dr. Pepper, Mellow Yellow. And I know a lot of places have those things, but just like their choice of drinks is just so great for the things that I'm eating when I'm there. They did get rid of the oven roasted chicken a while back, which was kind of what I stuck
Sad
to.
times.
And so I had to change my order, like, for like 6 or 7 years. It was the same thing, but that has helped me branch out and have more variety in what I eat when I'm at Subway. And so I really like that because it's helped me learn some things. Like, I love their Boss sandwich now, like the meatball sub. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. It is like dangerous to eat, but it's awesome.
It's worth the calories.
They have the like, we do like a wrap sometimes, and it's like a breakfast wrap, and you can get like
That's my favorite,
eggs
yeah.
and steak and stuff like that. It's great. Like, I just love the variety. I'm almost surprised that I didn't put it even higher because like,
Yeah.
there was a time in my life where I was genuinely eating Subway every day, and I don't really get tired of things. I think that's maybe the difference. I might be a little bit pickier than Hema is, or than a lot of people are. I don't get tired of things though. Like, I could literally eat a Subway pizza every day for lunch for 6 months, and it wouldn't grow old at all. Like, I'd love it. It's food to me, and Subway's one of those things that definitely doesn't get old. I could eat it every day. I would eat it every day. But that's just obviously not plausible or reasonable. Especially, when you're taking others into consideration that might be eating with you. So
Yeah. I agree with you on that. Subway does have a variety, and of course, it's almost like you can just mix and match stuff with it. Like, maybe try chicken, lettuce, or just something like that. And then the next day, I don't know, maybe like a sweet chicken teriyaki.
and you can't forget about their chocolate chip cookies. Like, their cookies are great. So, funny story about that. There for a while, Subway actually had a it was like a chocolate chip mint, or like a
Yes.
chocolate with mint chips in it, and it was only like a limited time thing. And our local Subway, I would come in to get them, and they were supposed to go out of like stock by a certain point, and they hadn't yet. Like, they were supposed to be off the menu, and I noticed, and I asked about it one day, and I was told, like, you're like the only one that's getting these cookies, so that until you finish eating them all, like, they're gonna be here. And so, man, I don't think you can really go wrong with any of their cookies. I don't like the raspberry cheesecake ones or whatever that is. That's kind of like what my dad likes. But man, the macadamia nut, the
I'm a fan
chocolate
of
chip,
cheesecake, too.
I'm always getting cookies, and that's like. I never get the chips with my meal. I think cookies just go great with a good sub, especially Subway's cookies. They're just so well done.
Especially when they're fresh out the oven.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Alrighty, so I guess, are we now down to our last two?
Last two, and of course a dishonorable mention.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead with number 2.
Alrighty, so my number 2, I think you actually have mentioned this in your list earlier, but my number 2, which is kind of crazy, is Chick-fil-A. And
That's a pretty solid pick.
yeah, I'll be honest, Chick-fil-A is not something you get every day. So it's kind of like one of those times like when you go on vacation, you don't want to eat at the restaurant, so you could eat back in your town or back, in the surrounding counties near you. So you like to go out and eat big. And so like when I think of like Chick-fil-A and we go, like for example, like church camp, that's normally like the go-to spot, or even leaving church camp, convention, or just stuff like that. And there's a Chick-fil-A, of course I'm going to use it. And, gift cards for Chick-fil-A. I remember during COVID, I got like a bunch of money worth of just Chick-fil-A gift cards, and they were right there. And of course, you can never, like, I don't know, you mentioned earlier that if there's mostly just chicken. However, like, they also have like different variety of breakfast options there. Like they have like these mini like chicken sandwiches, and they're really good, and they're nuggets, and like it's like blessed food, I'll be honest. And even though they're closed on Sundays, it just makes, and a lot of people desire it the most on Sundays, for what I hear a lot. But it's almost like and they're quick. I'll tell you what, they're quick with their service.
I should add that in there also, like on mine. If I had taken service into consideration, there's no doubt like Chick-fil-A is number one when it comes to service. I remember one time we went in there this last summer into a Chick-fil-A I'd never been in before, and they had 15 people working, like inside. That wasn't even counting like the people outside, right, because they have the people stand out there at the drive-thru and take your order in your car, and then they had 15 people inside working, and they were like apologizing because they were like, we're short-staffed today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like your service is still way better than anything that we ever get anywhere. Like, it's amazing service that they offer. And not to mention, like they kind of have built themselves off of Christian values, so I appreciate that as well.
Mm-hmm. That works out with it as well. And it's just a good environment, good seating, and like I know with like
not good parking though.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you're not wrong on that part.
They have like a running joke that if it's like a parking lot that has like terrible parking, not enough space for people to drive through, right near like an interstate or like a big highway with like 4 lanes, Chick-fil-A is going to take it. Like that's just what it is. Like they do not have good parking lots, but people still come, which is kind of a testament to how good their service is.
Their lines may be long, but I'll tell you what, people will still hop in the line just to get Chick-fil-A.
It's a testament to how good they are. So I respect you putting Chick-fil-A at number 2.
For sure.
Had I considered their service, I might have even put it higher, but I didn't think about their service. So for my number 2, I'm going to go classic here. I almost put this one number 1 because if you ask me between my number 1 and number 2, I probably go to my number 2 more often than I go to my number 1 to eat. Okay? But, man, this one is as high as it is because no matter what anybody says, it is like the standard for fast food, and that is McDonald's. McDonald's is the standard when it comes to fast food. There's no doubt about it. Like when you think of fast food, when most people think of fast food, the first thing that comes to mind is that big yellow logo that represents McDonald's, because McDonald's is just, they've been the standard for so long. And for me, this is really why it's higher up than something like Chick-fil-A, is the variety. Like, I could probably say there are more things on McDonald's menu that I love than on any other menu of any fast food place. My order almost has always been the same, but I have tried so many other things at various times, I'll add them on to my order. Like, my order typically is like a McDouble and a spicy chicken is kind of what it has been now with, like a Dr. Pepper to drink or a mocha frappe, depending on the time, and fries, right? That's just the basics. But I've added on cookies before. I've added on, the frappe or a shake, or their breakfast, is just top-notch breakfast for fast food. So McDonald's takes my number 2 spot, because it is the golden standard, literally golden, the golden arches. And so for me, like, I just, if you don't have McDonald's on your top 5 list, that's okay. I respect your decision in that regards, but I don't see how people don't think it's great.
Yeah.
Is their service awful sometimes? Yes. I went a couple of days ago, and I think I probably had the best service I've ever had. They got me through the line quickly, didn't forget anything. I thought, wow, like, this is great. They were really nice to me in the drive-thru. And that's more or less like something that doesn't happen very often. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, they're known maybe for messing up orders, but to me, they're still a restaurant I'm going to keep going back to. Like, that doesn't matter to me. It's kind of silly of me to try and hold a grudge against a restaurant like McDonald's because they mess up my order sometimes. I love their food. I love the variety. I love going into their facilities,
Yeah.
and I just love it all around. I don't like Ronald McDonald. He's not a cool guy.
Not a fan of clowns.
No, I just don't want to be anywhere near him.
I don't blame
But,
you. Yeah,
I'm
the same way.
So how about this before we go to number one, let's give our dishonorable mention. So what a dishonorable mention is we're going to discuss a fast food restaurant that we're like, you'll absolutely never find on our top 5 list. It doesn't have to necessarily be the worst fast food restaurant in our opinion, but they're one that we just want to say, like, let you know, like, hey, we don't like this place. And I was going to say one initially, and I think I've kind of changed my mind and want to make sure I let you know. But what is your dishonorable mention?
Actually, I want to start with you. I feel like I've gone first every time, so I'll let you start.
So my dishonorable mention, I almost want to give 2 for this, but I will say this: my original dishonorable mention was on Hema's list. I was gonna say Sonic. I'm not a huge fan of Sonic, but it's not so bad. I guess I can handle it. My dishonorable mention, though, this is such a bad restaurant, and I really don't know a lot of the general populace that has actually eaten at this restaurant. I don't even know where the closest one to where we live is. I used to eat it sometimes when I was a kid in living in Indiana. But like I couldn't tell you where the closest one is here, and I hope I never find out. Like, I will probably move if I find out one of these is within like 45 minutes of Burkesville, and that is Rally's. Rally's has got to be one of the most awful, atrocious restaurants, fast food restaurants that I've ever ate in my life. Mind you, when I was younger, I liked the food, and I'm not even really saying that all their food is bad. I just know that you will never catch me within 5 feet of a Rally's again if I have the choice. Like, it's not, when you raise your hand and say, hey, what do you want to eat? Rally's doesn't come to mind, and has probably not come to mind in my life once when somebody asked me that question. It's just not good. And I remember the Rally's that I used to go to as a kid, like, there was barely any seating in it either. Like, it was like 2 chairs, and I don't know. The whole experience was bad for me. Like, I've tried to suppress every memory I have of Rally's.
Is that why when I've asked if we can go eat at Rally's, you just turn your head the other way? You just say no?
I don't even remember you asking because I've tried to suppress every memory.
Because there's been times
of Rally's
where when you've asked me where I want to go eat, and of course, me just being indecisive, I'm like, well, let's just go eat here or there or Rally's, and you're like, eh.
Maybe the only cool thing about Rally's is their checkerboard design. Yeah. Like, that's cool that they've got that on all of their material, but it's so bad. Like, please, if you've never eaten Rally's, go eat Rally's just so you can suffer like the rest of us. Okay, everybody should experience that at least once in their life, and then learn to never go back. I can't even describe why I hate it. I just don't like it. It's awful. And a lot of people, I feel like, used to kind of pair Rally's and Arby's together, and that's why it's kind of weird for me to say Rally's and put Arby's on my top 5. But you won't catch me at a Rally's. I don't want to be found anywhere near one of those places.
That's pretty nice. Like, well, we may just have to go just so I can suffer then, huh?
Have you ever had Rally's before?
No.
That's
why every time I've
I guess we'll go. You won't find me eating it. We'll call it in and you can go get it because I'm not supposed to be within 5 feet of it. I'm not touching it.
It's that serious, huh?
It's bad.
Oh my. Alrighty, and then my dishonorable mention. I don't know, like my family was just so big on eating this growing up, but I'll be honest, when I would eat this, I would be sick the next day. I'd just be puking, and that's kind of be. I don't know. I feel like this may be weird, but for my dishonorable mention is going to be Burger King, and here's why.
Come on.
I don't know if it's just because their burgers are different or whatever. It's just it ain't like your McDonald's, or it's not like your it's just there's something unique about Burger King burgers or their Whoppers really, and we would always go out to eat and everything, or something quick and easy, and we would just be Burger King most of the time. And I don't know if maybe I just got so burnt out out of it, or just the fact that there was just I don't know, just it wasn't the same tasting an actual burger from other places. And I don't know if it's just the way they made their burgers or like what all they put inside of it, or it just wasn't the right combination. I don't know.
That's why I go with the chicken fries.
But see, I don't even want to try the chicken fries. That's like I don't even want to be near Burger King.
I like Burger King. It's not a top 5. It might crack my top 10 list. I don't eat there enough anymore, obviously, because like you don't like to eat it. But I don't have a problem with Burger King. I like Burger King. I think they're like Oreo. It's like an Oreo kind of shake that they've got. Like I think that's great. Their fries are a bit much for me. I'm not huge on their fries, but I definitely would eat at Burger King again if I had the opportunity. I love Burger King. So we can agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that's this honorable mention. Here we go to the number 1 on each of our list. You start everything off. I'll let you start off this last one again with your number 1 favorite fast food restaurant. Let's see if we can upset the masses.
Oh my goodness.
What do we got?
So for number 1, I'll be honest, I didn't know what to go with because I don't know. Like it was just a hard choice. I'm one of those people where I will just pick my favorites, but I would have a tough time putting them in the right order. But I think with this one, I put this at number 1 because it was easy to access to. You see one probably every 50 miles almost, if I'm not mistaken. And if you got just some loose change or a few dollars, you maybe could spare yourself a meal, and that's McDonald's in my opinion.
I respect that.
And also not to mention, you want a sweet tea, it's $1.06. There's that. Any size beverage drink.
Yeah, that going back to that, I actually heard I don't think this was a theory necessarily, but there's actually a reason, like a literal scientific reason that McDonald's Coke tastes different.
Yeah.
And that's actually because they ship it differently to McDonald's than to all their other places.
Ooh.
And it's very specific. I can't even remember why. I heard that on another podcast. But they McDonald's Coke is different.
It hits different.
It's better than any other kind of Coke. I would say McDonald's Sprite is better.
Yeah, I was about to say.
There's a legitimate reason. And so McDonald's selection of drinks is top notch as well.
And I'll tell you what, their caramel iced coffee. I'm such a coffee girl, and I know a lot of girls watching this, you all may like coffee and all. But man, their caramel iced coffee, or even just like how you mentioned earlier, Mike, like their frappes and stuff. And
Frappes are good.
They're just good. And you want a burger, you can get a burger. And if you want chicken, you can get chicken. And a McChicken, a McDouble, or just the classic nuggets. Yeah. And they even got their apple pies and cinnamon rolls.
Their cookies, their chocolate chip cookies are great.
Oh my goodness,
also.
Their cookies are just so.
Cookies are
There's
good.
no cookies like McDonald's cookies. And I remember growing up, my mother and my grandma, they would always every once in a while when we would get the if we had the money for it or the option to get take cookies to go, it was pure joyness.
To add to that, just how good McDonald's is, their frappes are genuinely amazing. I had somebody ask the other day if you could only have one of these the rest of your life, which would it be, McDonald's or Starbucks? And I genuinely think I would pick McDonald's. Starbucks has better quality stuff, and I love Starbucks. They have great drinks and whatnot. But McDonald's, you get the food that you want and coffee, and their coffee's good. Their mocha frappes are amazing, and every once in a while, it's happened more times than it should have. But I've been handed a caramel frappe rather than a mocha in the drive-thru, and because I'm in the drive-thru, I just kind of roll with it. Those are good too. Yeah. Those are really good. And I've always said also that I think McDonald's hot chocolate is potentially the best hot chocolate on the market that you can get at a restaurant. I love their hot chocolate. My tongue is always numb 30 seconds after taking the first sip because it's so hot. But I love their hot chocolate. I would go just for their hot chocolate.
And I'll tell you what, if you have, which I know almost 95% of you all watching this have access to a smartphone or anything like this, but if you download the McDonald's app, this isn't a sponsor, by the way, But if you have the McDonald's app and you use it for each purchase, you make, you can those points will like tally up, and you can actually get free stuff. Like, for example, there's been times where I've racked up points from using the McDonald's app, and I've been able to get a free large iced caramel coffee, right? And I mean, it's worth your buck. I'll be honest. And I'll be honest, the only other thing, like, I'll go for McDonald's because, like you mentioned earlier, I see that yellow M and I'm in the mood and I'm hungry. Boom. Fast right there. We'll just pull in. The only downside, I'll say, of McDonald's, and I'll never understand why, is why their ice cream machine is always down.
I actually used to run a fake Twitter account called McDonald's Ice Cream Machine, and I would tweet about how I was broken. And I lost the password, or else I'd find it again. But when you go and look, mine doesn't pop up because there's so many people acting like McDonald's ice cream machines on Instagram and Twitter. But I would make kind of funny jokes about that, which, that's what it is. But McDonald's is a solid choice. Hey, so for my number one on top 5 favorite fast foods, probably no surprise here. If you've ever really heard me talk about my favorite fast food, this is at the top, no doubt, and that's Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen is the best. Their menu is just incredible. The chicken strip basket, with the gravy. I actually remember the first time I ate that at Dairy Queen. Like, before, all I knew Dairy Queen for was like ice cream, which is also one of their best features. Is like, you will not find a greater selection of dessert than at Dairy Queen compared to any of these other places. Like, you can get dessert at Chick-fil-A. Yeah. You can get a shake, you can get cookies, you can even get good cookies at Arby's. You can get good cookies at Subway and McDonald's. But man, the selection of ice cream, like you said, McDonald's ice cream machine's broken. You don't find a Dairy Queen with the ice cream machine broken. Like, I think one time we went and there was a boil water advisory or something like that, so there was certain things they couldn't make. But man, like, their selection of just blizzards and desserts is off the charts. Like, not to mention that you can order things like boxes of dilly bars. They sell some of their ice cream products at stores like Walmart and some of these other places, and they've got like the little sandwiches, the ice cream sandwiches, and even more than that, you can buy ice cream cakes. Like, probably 30% of the last so many birthdays I've had, like 10 or 12 birthdays I've had, maybe even more than that, have been like have had an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen involved in some way. You just go and get one. It's awesome.
I'll tell you what, you don't want to get your face smashed into an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen.
Too thick, yeah.
It's too thick, and you may get some. It may be cold up your nose. I'll tell you that. I'll give it to you. Yeah, Dairy Queen is good.
And furthermore, to add to that is their breakfast. Their breakfast is also one of the best breakfasts. I say McDonald's breakfast is one of the best breakfasts. Like, I think Dairy Queen and McDonald's, when it comes to breakfast, they do go head to head. Dairy Queen has great breakfast. I don't get it a lot, but they definitely have great breakfast. Like, their biscuits and gravy is amazing. And I think, are they serving breakfast all day now? I feel they may not be, but if they were, this would be higher than number one if that were even
McDonald's
possible.
Used to serve breakfast all day for a while.
Numbers.
I remember my 8th grade night for dance. I was so hungry, and the only thing I was really craving was a McDonald's. I think it was like an egg McMuffin or something like that.
Oh yeah,
and we went for dinner. We had breakfast from McDonald's. Of course, that was pre-COVID when McDonald's used to be 24 hours. And all that, man. Good times, yeah. But maybe this is why we struggle with where we want to go eat, because we
got
have
a list now.
Well, yeah, but like places. I'm just saying, like, when we want to go, like, within our small town, of course, the things nearby, like in the town next to us, there's a McDonald's and a Dairy Queen, and we're always back and forth about it. And I even have to use an app where it spins the wheel or telling us what we like. It picks for us and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
I think that's awesome. I think overall we had
those two solid lists. Hey guys, listen. So thank you for tuning in. If you're joining us, we're gonna be uploading more of these as the weeks go by, kind of toying with things. As I said before, if you're watching the video version of this on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, somewhere like that, we obviously aren't in a studio yet, so things are not looking the best. We're not even using real cameras. We're using our phones to record video. So really the only good thing about this is probably the audio. But if you'll follow us and pay attention to what we're doing, we're going to work to improve what we have and work even better to make this podcast one that you enjoy listening to. We will post the full podcast on Apple Podcasts. We will post the full video of the podcast on YouTube, and then we're going to splice it up into smaller, short videos for YouTube Shorts, for TikTok, for Instagram. If you aren't following us on Instagram, go to _Top5Talk. That's where we've been doing most of our discussion so far, where you guys can vote on polls to let us know what you want to hear about next, which is also why you have helped us determine our next video, which the next time you see us and next time you hear from us will be top 5 soft drinks. So you can comment below on any of these videos, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere. If you see our polls on Instagram, you can do it there too. What are some topics you want us to discuss? It could be a variety of things. The first few we do are going to be food-based, like restaurants and soft drinks, but we've got a variety of things. At some point, we're probably going to talk about our top 5 favorite social medias, our top 5 favorite colors, our top 5 favorite Marvel movies, our favorite
Anything and everything.
A variety of things, favorite songs, favorite actors, favorite artists, those different kinds of things. If there's one of those that you say we really want to hear you guys talk about it, put that in the comments. Give us a follow on Instagram. Give us a follow on TikTok. Hope you subscribe to our page here on YouTube and follow us on Apple Podcasts so you can listen to us at any time and get angry and get passionate about your top 5 favorite, which probably doesn't line up with our top 5 favorite, but we hope you enjoy listening to us so that you can get that passionate anyway. So this has been Top 5 Talk, and we're out. We'll see you next time.
See y'all.